Hello, it's Nolan, and this is Throwing a Pot. So I have a piece of clay here. It's 1.5 pounds, it's about roughly the size of my fist. I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna put it right in the middle of the wheel here, and I'm gonna come and just smack it down and make sure it's nice and attached. Notice how I haven't used any water to do this yet. I don't wanna get any water underneath the pot or the piece of clay here, because then it'll just slide around and I won't be able to center the piece of clay. So now I'm going to start the wheel. My foot pedal is right here, my power pedal is right here. Yours will be on the ground, but just know mine works the same. If it's down flat, that means it's fast, and if it's up like this, it's going slower. All right, so I'm going to get the wheel going pretty fast. I'm going to get my hands wet. I'm going to come and I'm going to start by pushing down on the clay like this to make sure we attach it to the wheel head. So I'm going to use these big patty parts of my hands to push down on the clay. Just like that. You can see which parts of my hands have been dirty. It's these parts always that I'm using the most to center the clay. And you can notice when I do this that these fingers are wet, and that's from coming and holding the clay down here to keep it from just spreading super far and flat across the wheel head. Alright, now it's time to start centering the piece of clay. So I'm going to come and cone the clay up. If we think of the wheel as a clock, here is noon, here is 3, here is 6, here is 9. I'm going to come in from 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock with my hands like cups. I'm going to squeeze the clay and cone it upwards. Just like so. And then, to compress the clay down, I like to use this big pad part of my hands to come and push down on the top here and on the side here. My wheel's going a little fast. I'm going to turn it down just a hair. It's good to cone and compress your clay about 3 times. If you need to do it more, that is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're pretty quick at centering, it's still good to compress and cone about 3 times. It just helps us align all these clay particles nicely in our clay to make a pot. So, what you can see that I was doing there, I was grabbing some slip off the wheel head to just put on my piece of clay so I don't need to use as much water. Okay, I'm slowing the wheel down because now it is time to open the pot up, or we can start pulling the walls. So, to open it, I like to lay my thumb flat across here until I feel it spinning in the middle, and then I take my other hand and I come and I just push that thumb down towards the wheel head, and it opens up my pot. And it looks a little something like that. When I'm opening my pot, I'm not trying to dig a well. I'm not trying to go straight in like this and have a little tiny hole, like a donut maybe, in there. I'm trying to make this nice and open so then I can put my hands in here and it's easy to do work on it. I'm sorry, excuse me. So, to check how deep my floor is of my pot, that's this area down here where it's the bottom of the pot, I'm going to stick my needle tool in the bottom and put my finger all the way down to the clay. I pull it out and it shows me that's how thick the floor is. So that's a little thick for what I want. I do want to leave clay there so I can trim a foot in, but that's a little deep, so I'm just going to go down just a little bit, run my fingers over that, and it closes the hole up. Okay, now it's time to open the clay. I'm going to rest my hand back in here just like I did to open it, but I'm going to create a hook on my thumb like this. And when I create the hook on my thumb, I'm going to pull towards my palm, and you can see how this opens the clay up. I'm supporting my right hand with my left hand always, and it opens up our piece of clay. And now this is a really important part. You cannot skip this. You must compress the bottom of your pot. This aligns the ovular clay particles like this at the bottom, and it prevents S-cracking, which is not something you ever want to see. So we can use our fingers to go back and forth like this to compress. We can grab a sponge and we can go back and forth across the bottom like that. Or we can take a rib tool. I'm going to put this shallow side in the middle and then push and roll the rib tool over to the outside. And this just makes the bottom of our pot nice and flat. It looks really nice and it won't crack. Okay, now that that is done, it's time to pull the walls of the clay up. So to be pulling the walls of the clay up, you're going to be pinching the clay in between these two fingers and pulling up at the same speed and pressure the whole time to stretch these walls up and make our pot taller. So I like to come and use my knuckle down here. I use about this part of my knuckle to scoop under the clay and scoop up. You can use two fingers like this. You can use this part of your knuckle. You can try to use your hand like this. It gets a little bit harder, but for the first one, you can try to do that. There's lots of ways that you can do it, so play around and see what feels comfortable. So you can see that there's this little alleyway or cave maybe down here for me to get my fingers under. So I'm gonna put my fingers under there and I'm going to push in with this outside finger. And once I feel the clay move with this inside finger, I'm going to start moving up. I'm also going to slow the wheel just down a little bit. All right. I'm pushing with the outside finger. I feel it with my inside finger, so I start to move up. I'm keeping that same speed and consistency all the way. And I'm stopping right below the lip so that I don't make the lip of my pot super thin. I'm coming and compressing my rim. I'm going to do a slight cone inwards, just like we did when we were centering. Very gentle though. All right, and I'm going to come for a pull again. So I'm going to make this little cave or alleyway underneath the pot. Push in with my knuckle. I feel it on the inside, so it's time to move up. You can see the clay above my knuckle or my thumb and how it's pulling up on the pot and making our pot grow taller. One more cone in. I'm trying to prevent the walls from flaring out. Gravity can pull the walls out, so I'm trying to keep them in. Okay, one more. All right, that was about 3 pulls, I believe. It's good to at least do 3 pulls. Sometimes you need to do more, but you don't want to do more than 5, I would say. Because then you're just stressing your clay out and it's not going to cooperate with you. All right. I'm going to take my rib tool. I'm going to lay it flat on the side and I'm just going to come and put my hand on the inside and push the clay to the rib tool. You can see how this is smoothing out the outside surface, making it nice and straight, and it's also taking all the slip off of the pot, which makes it easier for me to lift the pot away later. Now I'm going to take my sponge, run it across the rim, come clean up this last little bit of slip at the top. All right, now it's time to clean up this skirt of clay at the bottom that we could not pull up. I'm going to take my wooden knife. I'm going to match the angle of my pot and slowly push down. I made sure to dip my wooden knife in water before doing this. And this removes that skirt of clay that we cannot pull up. I come and I make a slice in it. I lay my wooden knife in the slice and I spin it and it pulls all that clay off. All right, we also take our wooden knife, we put the beveled edge up, and we come and undercut our pot. This makes it easy for the wire tool to get under there, and it makes it easier to start trimming as well. Clean off my wheel head, dry off my hands, grab my wire tool, and with the wheel spinning slowly, I'm going to grab the wire tool and hold it tight and slowly drag it underneath my pot, making sure that I'm keeping my thumbs flat on the bat the whole time. You can see how it's separated our pot from the wheel with dry hands. I lightly put my hands on the outside and just twist it away and carry it over to my wear board. Set it down, grab another piece of clay, put it on the wheel so that I can continue to make pots. Awesome, thank you so much.